Imagine being completely off-grid. No internet, no grocery stores, and no modern conveniences. Just you, nature, and your ability to survive. Could you do it? Surviving in the wild isn't just about toughness, it's about knowledge. Today, we're breaking down the 10 most critical off-grid survival skills that every self-reliant person should know. And it all starts with fire making, one of the most important skills you'll ever need. 1. Fire making mastery. Fire is one of the most crucial elements of survival. It provides warmth, cooks food, purifies water, and even wards off predators. But starting a fire in a survival situation is easier said than done, especially in wet or windy conditions. That's why mastering multiple fire-starting methods is essential. Ferro rods are a reliable tool that generates sparks even when damp, making them a great addition to any survival kit. Flint and steel, a more traditional method, requires dry tinder to catch a spark. If you have no tools, friction-based firemaking, such as using a bow drill or hand drill, can create an ember with enough patience and skill. But firemaking isn't just about ignition, it's also about choosing the right materials. Dry tinder, such as birch bark, dried grass, or even cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly, can ignite quickly. To build a long-lasting fire, start with small twigs and gradually add larger logs. 2. Finding and purifying water. Water is the most critical survival resource. While you can go weeks without food, dehydration can kill within days. Knowing how to find and purify water in the wild is a fundamental off-grid survival skill. Streams and rivers are the best natural sources, as flowing water is generally cleaner than stagnant ponds or lakes, but purification is still necessary to remove bacteria and parasites. If no obvious water sources are available, collecting morning dew with a cloth and wringing it out can provide a small but valuable amount. In desperate situations, digging at the base of a dry riverbed can sometimes reveal underground water. Once water is collected, purification is essential. Boiling is the most effective method, but if fire isn't an option, a solar still can extract purified water from soil or vegetation using condensation. 3. Shelter building techniques. When exposed to the elements, having a proper shelter can mean the difference between life and death. Hypothermia can set in quickly, especially in cold or wet conditions, making shelter a top priority. A survival shelter should protect against wind, rain, and extreme temperatures while providing insulation and camouflage from predators. There are several types of shelters you can build depending on your environment. A lean-to is one of the simplest and most effective, using branches and a tarp or natural materials to create a slanted roof. A debris hut, which involves piling leaves and branches over a frame, provides excellent insulation. If you have a tarp or emergency blanket, you can fashion a quick waterproof shelter with just some rope and trees. Choosing the right location is crucial. Avoid low-lying areas prone to flooding and look for natural windbreaks. 4. Foraging for edible plants. Finding food in the wild doesn't always mean hunting. Sometimes the best survival strategy is knowing how to forage. Many edible plants grow abundantly in forests and fields, but the key is knowing which ones are safe to eat and which are toxic. Some of the most reliable wild edibles include dandelions, cattails, wild berries, and acorns. However, many lookalikes can be deadly, so the rule of thumb is to never eat anything unless you're 100% sure it's safe. The universal edibility test can help determine whether a plant is poisonous by testing small portions on the lips, tongue, and then consuming tiny amounts while waiting for adverse reactions. High-calorie plants and fungi are particularly useful for survival, providing essential nutrients when food is scarce. Seasonal foraging is also important. Certain plants are only available during specific times of the year. 5. Hunting, fishing, and trapping. While foraging can supplement your diet, hunting and fishing provide protein and essential fats needed for long-term survival. In an off-grid situation, setting up snares and traps can be an efficient way to catch small game with minimal effort. Deadfall traps, snare wires, and pitfall traps are effective techniques used for centuries by survivalists and indigenous communities. Fishing is another excellent way to secure food, as rivers and lakes often have an abundance of fish. Survival fishing can be done using primitive methods such as spearfishing, hand lining, or crafting fish traps from woven sticks. If larger game is necessary, knowing how to track animals and make primitive weapons like bows or spears can increase your chances of a successful hunt. 6. Navigation without a GPS. When you're off-grid, getting lost can be a death sentence, which is why mastering natural navigation is crucial. Before modern technology, explorers relied on the sun, stars, and natural landmarks to find their way. During the day, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and using a simple shadow stick method can help determine direction. At night, the North Star, Polaris, provides a fixed reference point in the northern hemisphere. Reading topographic maps and using a compass is another essential skill, helping to navigate unfamiliar terrain without digital tools. If neither is available, paying attention to landmarks such as rivers, mountain ridges, or unique rock formations can guide you back to safety. 7. First aid and emergency medical skills. In the wilderness, a minor injury can turn into a life-threatening situation without proper first aid skills. Treating cuts, burns, and fractures immediately is critical to prevent infection and long-term damage. Deep wounds should be cleaned with purified water, and natural antiseptics like honey or crushed plantain leaves can help fight bacteria. Burns should be cooled with clean water and wrapped loosely to prevent further damage. For fractures, immobilizing the affected limb with splints made from sturdy branches can prevent worsening injuries. A well-prepared survivalist also knows how to make a natural first aid kit using herbs like yarrow for clotting wounds or willow bark for pain relief. 8. Primitive tool and weapon crafting. When surviving off-grid, crafting tools from natural materials is an invaluable skill. Early humans thrived by shaping stones into cutting tools, spears, and arrowheads, and these same techniques remain useful today. A simple but effective survival knife can be made from flint or obsidian, while bones can be sharpened into needles, hooks, or even spear tips. Bows and arrows can be crafted using flexible wood and natural fibers like sinew or plant cordage for the bowstring. Spears, sharpened sticks, or club-like weapons can be used for hunting or self-defense against wild animals. The key to survival tools is versatility. Having a multi-purpose tool that can cut, carve, and defend is essential. 9. Long-term food preservation. Securing food is one thing, but knowing how to store it for the long haul is what truly separates short-term survival from long-term sustainability. Smoking and drying meat have been used for centuries to preserve food without refrigeration. Smoking over a slow fire adds both preservation and flavor, while air drying in a cool, shaded area prevents spoilage. For plant-based foods, fermentation and pickling methods using salt, vinegar, or naturally occurring bacteria can extend shelf life and enhance nutritional value. Underground storage techniques, such as root cellars, take advantage of the Earth's natural insulation to keep food cool and fresh for months. Even without a fridge, food can be stored safely in clay pots buried underground, utilizing evaporation for cooling. 10. Psychological resilience and survival mindset. Survival isn't just about physical skills, it's also a mental battle. Staying calm and focused in high-stress situations can determine whether you make it out alive. Fear and panic cloud judgment, leading to fatal mistakes, while a strong survival mindset allows you to assess the situation logically. Developing resilience means embracing discomfort, adapting to changing conditions, and pushing through adversity. Self-reliance is key. When you're off-grid, no one is coming to rescue you, so every decision must be made with a clear head. Visualization techniques and mental conditioning can prepare you for isolation and uncertainty, keeping your morale high even when resources are low. Which skill do you think is the most important for off-grid survival? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more survival tips.